welcome back. And I have to say that I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoyed my new intro on my new song that I did with a little help, but it's my voice. So that's really exciting. But I gotta be real, I'm sorry. I feel like I've been slacking on my podcast. I feel like I've been slacking on my content. I feel like life been beating my butt, to be quite honest, for many reasons. But I just wanted to talk today. And I mean, I guess I talk every time I hop on here. But what I mean by talk is like I don't have a planned topic, I don't have a planned conversation. I am literally, we just going with it. I just want to be as real as I can be. And hopefully somebody gains something from it, or even if you just listen, like that's good enough for me. I am typically not, let me just adjust that. I'm typically not the kind of person that like just shares like her life, you know what I mean? Like in general, like I just don't tend to necessarily like tell my business. And so that's like it's big for me that I do this podcast. Many reasons to it, but I talk so often about healing. And I feel like this last week for me has been one of the hardest that I've had. And I'll explain a little bit why. But I guess first, like I have to say that I'm grateful first because I don't want it to sound like all I'm doing is complaining, because there's always somebody out there that has a worse situation going on than me. And for those people, I pray for peace. But this week has really just like been an emotional like roller coaster for me. Like I feel like the loss of my mom has hit me harder than it ever has, like this week. And maybe it's because this week was the 5-month like anniversary to her passing. That was one thing. Like two, I just feel like I've been struggling like as a parent. I've been just struggling like with myself, and it's been hard, and I feel like every day it's been something. And it's like, God, when am I going to get a break? I just want to catch a break. I just don't want to feel like this anymore. And not in like a negative way, I guess, not in like a like I want it in my life type of way, but just like God guide my path, because like I just don't know what to do anymore. Like everything I'm doing is not working. Like I'm trying to stay positive and I can't. All I want to do is cry. And I just want to call my mom. And I miss her. I miss her so much. And I was talking to my cousin today. And I don't like talk to my family a whole lot. That sounds bad, but like I don't call them, you know what I mean? I'm just more of like I keep to myself in general. Like my family knows that I love them, and it's no like ill will, like there's no bad like vibes or anything like that. I just am not typically the person that reaches out. And that goes for friendships, relationships in general. Like not because I don't care, but I'm a loner. Naturally I like to be alone. So for me, like me talking to my cousin today was very eye opening, and I needed that conversation because I needed to know that like my family is there for me. Like it's not just me. I don't have to fight these battles alone. And regardless of how I feel, like I'm not ever truly alone. God is always with me. I constantly feel my mom's presence with me. So none of that is like the issue. But I struggle. I struggle with feeling like I can't ask anybody for help. because like they'll judge me, or whatever, they'll have something to say. And every single time I've ever asked for help in the past, that has been the case. So it's not like I don't have a reason to feel that way, because I absolutely have a reason to feel that way. But it's not fair to the people that genuinely do want to help. And my cousin told me today, she's like, we're family. Like, you, even if you chose not to call nobody else, you call me. And it's like, I forgot that it's okay to forgive people. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept help, even if you're not asking for it. And it's okay to struggle. And I have to say that because, like, I've never been the type to struggle. You know what I mean? Struggle, yes. Like, I've been through some stuff, but I guess I'm talking about, like, financially. I've struggled mentally, but nothing like what I'm dealing with right now. So, like, that conversation really helped, like, open my eyes. And then I found myself today at work watching, I don't know if anybody on here like watches or listens to like YouTube or whatever, or if like this whole situation with Shiloh Walker, Landon McBroom. Their Landon's brother is like this big star on like YouTube, and his wife Catherine, and their kids and stuff like that. So his brother, like Landon, has been like basically throwing dirt on this girl's name. Throwing dirt. Talking about like basically trying to make it seem like he's living a life that he was not living. Well, today she dropped, because I'll skip the drama, but like she dropped this video, and then she said like it's the truth, and I feel like oftentimes, like as women, right, like we don't really like to tell our side, because we're like whatever, you know what I mean, like we brush it off and we let people drag our names like through the mud and whatever else. But that's not fair to us. We should be able to speak up just as much as the next person, or as the next guy or whatever. And she said so many things that resonated with me, to the point of like I'm like talking to my phone, but I'm like also crying at the same time. And I'm like, I feel you, I hear you, I see you. All of the reasons why you left your relationship and all the problems you had in your relationship is exactly why I left my relationship. And she said something. So the reason I bring this up is not to just talk about like YouTube drama, but she said something, and she said, if you don't take anything else from this video, make sure you take away that if you are healing, heal. Like, feel every single emotion. Do not run away from it, because you'll never heal that way. And healing doesn't just stop when you no longer necessarily cry about a situation. Like, you're constantly healing. You're healing in your mannerisms, you're healing in your life, you're healing in your mind, you're healing in your spirit. Like, that's a constant battle, because the devil is constantly trying to like attack us. He's constantly trying to tear us down, find our insecurities and pull on them. But I'm not going to let that happen to me. But it's like I say all that to say, because like it's been so heavy for me lately, and I'm like, God, I'm supposed to be healing, but it's like I'm just so sad. And I just don't want to be sad anymore. Like, I don't want to be sad right now. I just want to be happy. I want to be okay. I want to be okay with myself. I want to inspire people around the world. Like, I want so much for my life, and I just I doubt so much, and I'm tired of like doubting myself. I'm tired of like doubting God, because honestly that's really what it comes down to. Like, me not having enough faith to believe that at the end of the day, regardless of what I'm going through, like I will be okay, because I'm a child of God, and I will always be okay as long as I lean on him, right? But I don't always feel that way. I don't always feel like I'm going to be okay. I don't always feel like I'm going to want to wake up tomorrow. Like, I just don't want to deal with like any of it. The emotions, the tears, the anger, while still trying to be this positive like parent, you know, and role model to these kids. Is like, it's so hard, like trying to balance like your own grief of like losing a parent, but like then I'm still like in a sense like grieving all the negative like things that happened to me in my relationship, and then and the negative things that I also did in my relationship. Like, I'm still grieving all of those things because I understand like I don't want to be that way. And it's so hard. It's so hard to break those negative habits. Like, it's so hard to not like just burst out and like be mad. Like, and it's like, I'm not, I don't want to put everything out there because it's really not my place, but it's like I've dealt with some things this week with my sister, and I had to take a step back, and I'm like, let me just breathe before I overreact, or before, you know what I mean, before I make a rash decision. I don't want to do that. So let me take a deep breath. And that's what I had to do. And we talk about pride as well. You know what I mean? Like, pride is something. And I think even me, like growing up like in this like survival mode, I do have a lot of pride. And maybe I don't like to necessarily like admit it, but I have so much pride, and it's so hard for me to accept help. It's hard for me to ask for help, um because so many people have let me down in my life. And I recently made this post about my mom on the 5 month anniversary of her passing. And um my mom was one of one. And I said that in the post, but not only was she one of one, but she was just the only person that I felt I could count on that would never judge me. And growing up, like, people would tell me all the time, like, you only get one mom, like, you only get one mom. So regardless of how many mistakes she makes, always forgive her because you don't understand. And I think that's what's been hitting me, right? Because like now I understand. And it just feels so unreal all over again. And like, this is how my week has been. When was the last time y'all see me cry on my podcast? Like, the first episode. Because like, it breaks my heart that like my sister comes to me and she's like, I'm depressed, and you don't even see it. And I'm like, I do see it. But my toxic trait is I think that everybody else is supposed to just push through their pain, their sadness, their depression, just like I do. But I have to realize everybody is not me. And I have to be a little bit more empathetic to everybody else's healing process. And that's hard for me. It is hard for me. And not because like I don't want to do it, but because it's just not in my nature. Like, I'm a survivor. Not a victim, but I'm a survivor of a lot of things in my life. And people fail to realize that I wear this hard shell on the outside, but I'm made of glass. And I'm scared to break because I can't take another thing in my life that is heavy enough to break me. And then, like I told you, I don't really have a topic, so I'm just kind of ranting, really. But and then today, like, I get on the internet, and There's so much death. And that makes me so sad because, like, people I went to high school with, dead, dying, being murdered, killing themselves, like, all of this, like, depressing, like, stuff. And I'm like, God, what's going on? Like, you coming back for your people? And it's like, sometimes I just want to be like, God, come for me because this is too much. Like, this is hell. Like, living on this earth is hell. It's like there's so many like good things about it, but it's like nothing can compare to me being able to see my mom again, to being able to see everybody who I've lost in my life. But it makes me sad because like even today, and like there's this guy I went to school with, and I didn't know him that well. You know what I mean? So I don't want to make it seem like, oh, we was cool. Like, no, we were not. Like, it was more of like an associate like type of like relation. We see each other, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? Like type of thing. But every time I see that come across my screen and I see all these people like commenting and hurt and like sick with grief, and I know the feeling, and it's like I feel it, all of it all over again. The nightmare. The nightmare that you can't wake up from. And I am sick to my stomach for this boy's mom because he was a good person. Not everybody who dies is a good person. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's still gonna be people that are hurt, but like when you take somebody off this earth that is a genuine soul, it cuts deeper than anything else. And I'm tired of the pain. I'm tired of the murder. I'm tired of the hate. Like, and I feel like, is nobody else tired? Is nobody else done with what's going on like in this world? Like that makes me so scared to even go anywhere myself, let alone like go and bring my kids somewhere or trust them to go and be, like as they get older, like leave them places or like that's so much. And we shouldn't have to live in that fear. And I pray for that boy's mom because I couldn't imagine. I really could not imagine. We are not supposed to bury our kids. We are not. But it's just so sad. It's like there's so much sadness, and it's like sometimes it's hard to see the positive things. Like, you know what? Yeah, God, like I am grateful I woke up this morning, but there's so many people who didn't. And I pray for every single one of those people. And it's like it helps me to realize that, you know what? We are not promised 5 minutes from now. 5 minutes. We are not promised that. Let alone a minute from now. Like we don't ever know what's gonna happen. And it's hard because it's so unknown, but it's like at the same time, like we don't always want to live our lives like facing fear or in fear, not facing fear, but like in fear because we shouldn't have to. Why can't we just love each other? I don't know. I'm sorry that this is a heavy podcast, but this is a part of healing that everything is not good. Everything is not happy. Everything is not positive. Like I was talking to a coworker of mine today, and like I told her like what goes on in my life, you know what I mean, like the detailed version. And not just cuz like I mean I really don't have many people to talk to, and she don't know me from a box of rocks. So she's cool people. Um but like I was talking to her, and she was like, I tell my husband all the time, like this her I tell my husband all the time how Like, I work with this girl and she's 25 and like she has so much on her plate and I just feel so bad and like she goes through so much. But today when we were talking and I just kept like laughing. And not like I guess I wouldn't say like I wasn't like faking it. It wasn't like a fake laugh. Like it was a real laugh because like it's some BS. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that I'm dealing with that I shouldn't even have to deal with at all. Not even in this lifetime, not period of how old I am or whatever. I shouldn't have to deal with it, but I am. But she was like, you're so happy. Like you, like you laugh all the time, you know, about your problems. I said, well, it's better to laugh than it is to cry. And at the end of the day, I have to trust that God will work everything out for me the way that He planned it, not the way I did. And I'm like, I just don't have time to sit around here and cry all day. Like I don't, like I'm tired of crying. My eyes burn. I don't want to cry anymore. So instead of crying about it, like let me laugh about it because this is ghetto. And it's comedy at the same time, but it's like it's ghetto. And it's like I just feel like I deserve better than what's happening in my life, but I know it's going to make me better in the long run. And me being able to hop on my podcast and me like talking and expressing like what goes on in my life, whether positive, negative, or helping somebody else feel better about their situation or you know just making a positive impact period is important to me. And I'm here to let y'all know like it's okay to not be okay. Everything is not positive. Like I had recorded a whole like 3-minute video last week I was gonna put out um with my new intro or and whatnot. And like I just decided that I wasn't gonna post it. I wasn't gonna post it. I didn't feel like it. I felt like it was just full of like too many excuses. I don't know. Like I just felt like I didn't want to post it. But in a sense, like I also felt like, dang, like how many people did I let down? Like people who look forward to my podcast and or look forward to just listening to me speak or you know whatever. But I appreciate the breaks that you guys allow me to have. I appreciate like the support that I get, the messages that I get, um, because it does truly like keep me going. Because I do get discouraged and I do get scared and I do feel like, dang, like who's judging me? But it's like I can't care about that. Like it's always been my purpose to help people in any way I possibly can. And I'm doing that through this. And I just want everybody to know like I'm okay. I am okay. Even if I don't always feel okay, I am okay and I will always be okay because I have God on my side and He's everything that I need. But I do need to like, I need to focus more on Him. And y'all are probably like, why you talk about God so much? You know, but it's like, God saved me so many times, more times than I can count. I am only alive because of Him. People say all the time, oh, my kids saved me. My kids, they did. But God saved me. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for being able to do the things that I'm able to do and have the dreams that I'm able to have and be able to take care of these kids the way that I can. And like I'm grateful for that. Regardless of how many struggles I go through, regardless of how much like I deal with in my life, I will always be grateful that I get to wake up and do it again. Even if the day is not as good or not as great, like I'm okay with that. I am. But I won't keep y'all. You know, I appreciate you all listening. And if you didn't get nothing from this video, that's okay. I appreciate you watching. But if you did, like, Thank you for listening and thank you for hearing me out and feeling my emotions because I need it. You know, this is a healing space for me too. Me being able to feel the emotions that I feel when I talk about what's happening with me and y'all know it's real. I'm going to always try to be the truest version of myself at all times, regardless of what other people think, regardless of what other people say. Because at the end of the day, when I go to bed, I have to be okay and I have to live with me. And I'm okay with who I am. And I'm okay with who I'm going to be in this lifetime for as long as I keep working at it. And I hope and pray that you guys are just as grateful for yourselves and where you've come. And then when you look back and you're like, damn, I started here, but now I'm here. And when I turn around, damn, I came a long way. Like, yeah, I got a long way to go, but so much progress, not perfection, because it will never be perfect. We are not perfect, but you know, I do love y'all and I do appreciate y'all and thank you for continuing to support me. I got some things coming, some things that I'm trying to work on and get through. And yeah, so stay blessed, you guys. Go into this week with a hopeful spirit. Have fun this weekend. Be safe because people are dying left and right, and nobody deserves that. So I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Have a blessed weekend and week. I'll see you guys later. Peace.